He misses you, not in loud, dramatic ways, but in the small, invisible moments that no one else sees. He doesn't post about heartbreak, doesn't confess it to friends, and never sends that message he keeps typing and deleting. But every quiet action, every subtle pause, carries your name in it. Missing you has become part of his rhythm, something he hides beneath routine smiles and half-hearted conversations. It's not about wanting you back. It's about the way you linger in his life like background music he can't turn off. Even when he tries to move on, you show up. In songs, in dreams, in flashes of memory that feel too vivid to fade. He walks through his days pretending the wound has healed, but his heart still knows the exact shape of your absence. When he laughs with others, a part of him compares it to how it felt with you. When his phone lights up, there's a flicker of hope that your name might appear, even though he knows it won't. At night, the silence becomes a mirror, reflecting everything he's tried to suppress. That's when he replays the old voice notes, scrolls through photos he promised himself he'd delete, and reads your last message as if the ending might somehow change. He doesn't talk about it, because missing someone sounds weak in a world that values moving on, so he buries it under control, but it leaks out in quiet gestures. He still remembers your favorite coffee order, still avoids the movie you once watched together, still looks at the empty space beside him as if it should mean nothing. Yet it does. Every habit, every hesitation, every breath between words is a reminder that love doesn't disappear just because it's unspoken. It shifts form, from presence to memory, from laughter to longing. There are moments when he convinces himself he's fine, but then something small happens, a familiar scent, a random song, a voice in a crowd, and suddenly you're there again. Not physically, but powerfully enough to stop time for a heartbeat. He'll act unfazed, of course. That's his pride's armor. But deep down, you remain his quiet truth. The person who shaped how he sees love, loss, and everything in between. He misses you not in public declarations, but in silence, through things unsaid, undone, and unseen. It's in the way he checks your old messages but never replies, the way he watches your stories within seconds, the way he lingers at places you once called yours. His missing you isn't a phase. It's a quiet endurance. It's not loud enough for the world to hear, but it's steady. The kind of ache that becomes part of who he is. And maybe, just maybe, when you can't sleep at night, you feel it too. That unspoken connection, pulsing softly through the distance, whispering the same truth neither of you ever said aloud. He still misses you. Every single day. He checks your old messages, but never replies. He checks your old messages, but never replies. Not because he doesn't care, but because those words still carry a weight he can't face. Every conversation, every emoji, every good morning feels like a quiet echo from a time when you still belonged to each other. He scrolls through the chats late at night, when silence grows too loud and memories start whispering. His thumb hovers over the keyboard, maybe even typing something once or twice, but he stops. Pride, fear, regret, they all wrestle inside him until the screen goes dark again. He doesn't reply because he's caught between the comfort of the past and the pain of what's lost. Reading your words feels like touching a wound that never really healed. There's warmth there, but also guilt and longing, the kind that eats at him slowly. He wonders if you've moved on, if someone else now sends you goodnight texts. Still, he returns to those messages like a ritual, chasing the feeling of being seen by you. He may act distant in public, but every time he opens that chat, it's proof that a part of him still misses you. Silently, constantly, and completely. He watches your stories within seconds. He watches your stories within seconds, not by accident, but by instinct. The moment your name appears on his screen, something inside him reacts, a quiet pull he can't ignore. He tells himself he's just curious, that it doesn't mean anything, but every tap on your story is really a small confession. He wants to see how you're doing, who you're with, whether you still smile the same way. It's his way of staying close without crossing the line, of pretending he's still part of your world when he no longer has the right to be. He watches every detail, your outfit, your background music, the captions you choose, searching for signs, maybe even clues about your feelings. When you look happy, he feels both relief and ache. When you seem distant, he wonders if it's about him. He never reacts, never comments, but that instant view says everything he won't say aloud. It's his silent, "I still care," hidden behind the illusion of casual scrolling. Deep down, he hopes you notice his name in the viewers list and understand what he can't say. That even though you're no longer his, he still can't look away from your world. He keeps your picture as his hidden wallpaper. He keeps your picture as his hidden wallpaper, tucked away behind folders or apps where no one else can see it, but he knows it's there. It's his quiet rebellion against moving on, a secret piece of comfort that keeps you close even when you're gone. Every time he unlocks his phone, your face flickers in the corner of his vision, and for a second, everything feels normal again. It's not about holding on to the past completely. It's about holding on to the part of himself that existed when you were still beside him. He might tell others he's fine, that he's over it, but that hidden photo says otherwise. It's the one thing he refuses to delete, even though he's erased your number, your messages, your name from his contacts. Sometimes, when the world gets quiet, he stares at that image longer than he should, tracing the smile he once knew, remembering the voice that used to fill his nights. That picture isn't just a memory. It's an anchor. It reminds him of who he was when love felt simple, real, and alive. And though he hides it, that secret wallpaper is proof. He still misses you in silence, every single day. He brings you up in random conversations. He brings you up in random conversations pretending it's casual, but it never is. Your name slips out when no one expects it, in stories, jokes, or comparisons that don't really need you in them. Maybe he's talking about a song, a restaurant, or a memory that just happens to include you, but deep down, it's never by chance. Every mention is a small attempt to keep you alive in his world, to remind himself and others that you once existed together. It's his way of saying he still thinks of you without having to admit it outright. When his friends tease him, he laughs it off, acting like it's nothing. But his tone softens when he says your name, a tiny shift only someone paying close attention would notice. He tries to sound detached, yet his words always linger a second too long, as if holding on to you through conversation alone. Even when he's trying to move forward, you keep finding your way into his sentences, like an uninvited melody he can't stop humming. He might not message you, but every random story, every subtle mention, is his heart's quiet confession. You're still part of his every thought, woven into his every word. He avoids talking about you, but his eyes soften at your name. He avoids talking about you because words would make it real. The loss, the distance, the ache he's been trying to hide. So when someone mentions your name, he quickly changes the subject, pretending not to care. But his eyes always betray him. There's a flicker there, a split second of softness that no amount of control can mask. It's the look of someone remembering everything at once. The laughter, the fights, the small moments that built a whole world between you two. He might tighten his jaw, look away, or take a sip of his drink to seem unaffected. But that brief pause says more than he ever could. His silence isn't cold. It's protective. Talking about you would mean reopening a door he's not ready to walk through. Yet that tiny change in his expression gives him away. It's the heart remembering what the mind is trying to forget. Even when he avoids your name, it hangs heavy in the air around him, unspoken but alive. And in that quiet, unguarded moment when his eyes soften, it's clear. You're not gone to him. You're just hidden behind the silence he uses to survive. He lingers around places you both used to go. He lingers around places you both used to go, pretending it's coincidence. But it never is. Maybe it's that corner cafe where you shared your inside jokes, or the park bench where you once sat for hours talking about nothing and everything. He walks past slowly, his steps heavier there than anywhere else, hoping to feel that old warmth again. He tells himself he's just taking the same route, but his heart knows the truth. He's chasing ghosts of memories that refuse to fade. Every smell, every sound, every flicker of light carries a trace of you. He orders the same drink you loved, sits at the same spot, and lets the air replay your laughter in his head. Sometimes he waits, glancing at the door, half expecting you to walk in, even though he knows you won't. The world keeps moving, but for him, those places remain frozen in time, holding pieces of you that he's not ready to let go of. It's not about nostalgia. It's about longing disguised as routine. He doesn't go there to relive the past. He goes because being close to where you were feels like the closest he can still get to you. 7. He listens to songs that remind him of you. He listens to songs that remind him of you, even though he pretends he's just shuffling through playlists. The truth is, music has become his quiet confession. Every melody a memory, every lyric a whisper of what he can't say aloud. He plays that one song you both used to hum together, not because he wants to feel sad, but because sadness is the only thing that still feels like connection. Those songs take him back to the car rides, late-night talks, and the way you used to sing off-key but smile like you meant every word. When the world around him gets loud, he puts on his headphones and disappears into the sound of you. Sometimes he skips through songs, trying to avoid the ones that hurt too much. But when they finally play, he doesn't stop them. He lets them ache through him quietly, as if pain is the last proof that you mattered. Each lyric feels like a conversation frozen in time, and though he'll never admit it, he keeps replaying them because they hold the only version of you that still belongs to him, the one that lives in rhythm, echo, and silence between the notes. He still follows your habits unconsciously. He still follows your habits unconsciously. The little things you left behind have become part of him without his noticing. Maybe he still adds cinnamon to his coffee because you once told him it makes mornings softer. Or he keeps his phone on silent at night because you hated late notifications. These small gestures live quietly in his routine, like invisible fingerprints of your presence. He doesn't realize it at first, but everything from the way he folds his sleeves to the movies he watches on Sundays still carries your influence. When someone points it out, how he picks that one brand, or hums that same tune you loved, he just smiles faintly, pretending it's habit. But deep down, he knows it's you. The pieces of you that became muscle memory, the soft traces that lingered long after your goodbye. He's not trying to hold on consciously. It's more like his heart never learned how to unlearn you. Every repeated motion, every familiar rhythm is a silent echo of your time together. And though he might live as if he's moved on, his everyday choices quietly confess the truth. You're still stitched into his days, one habit at a time. He texts and deletes before sending anything. He texts and deletes before sending anything, not once, but countless times. Late at night, when the weight of missing you feels heavier than his pride, he opens your chat and types everything he wishes he could say. How are you? Do you still think about me? I miss you. Simple words, but they tremble with meaning. He stares at the blinking cursor, imagining your reaction. Maybe you'd smile, maybe you'd ignore it. That uncertainty burns, and before he can hit send, he erases it all. The screen goes blank again, like nothing ever happened, but inside him, everything did. It's not that he doesn't want to reach out. It's that he's afraid. Afraid of reopening a door that might stay shut. Afraid you've already found peace without him. So he settles for almost messages, conversations that exist only in drafts. Sometimes he even types your name just to feel the closeness of it again. He tells himself it's better this way, to love you silently than risk being forgotten loudly. But every deleted text leaves a mark, a quiet ache that says what words never could. He still wants to talk to you. He just doesn't know how anymore. 10. He remembers your important dates but stays silent. He remembers your important dates but stays silent. Your birthday, your anniversary, the day you first met, even the random ones you once laughed about together. They're all etched into his mind like quiet reminders of what used to be. When those days come around, he doesn't post, doesn't text, doesn't call, but the weight of them sits heavy in his chest. He might scroll through your profile, wondering if someone else is celebrating you now. He'll see the pictures, the comments, the new smiles, and he'll force himself to keep scrolling, pretending it doesn't sting. Still, a part of him lives in those memories. He might replay old photos in his gallery, or read a message from that same date years ago, just to feel close to you for a few moments. He tells himself that staying silent is strength, that it's better not to disturb what's gone. But when midnight strikes and the day quietly fades, he still whispers a wish for you, a happy birthday, a quiet I miss you, a thank you for what once was. You'll never hear it, but he sends it anyway, because remembering you even in silence has become his most honest ritual of love. He asks your mutual friends how you're doing. He asks your mutual friends how you're doing, pretending it's just small talk. He'll slide your name into a casual conversation. Have you seen her lately? Or how's she been? As if it's nothing more than curiosity. But it's not. Every question is carefully disguised, every tone controlled, because he doesn't want to sound like he still cares. even though that's exactly what he's doing. He listens closely, hoping for something. Maybe that you're happy. Maybe that you're not. Anything that proves he still has a place in your story. Even from a distance, when they say you're doing well, he smiles faintly but feels that quiet twist inside. If they say you've changed, he imagines what that means. New style, new friends, maybe someone new. He'll nod like it doesn't matter, but the ache will linger long after the conversation ends. Sometimes he asks just to hear your name again because it still sounds like home, even in someone else's mouth. It's his way of staying close without breaking the silence, of loving you from the shadows. And though he never admits it, every time he asks about you, it's not information he's after. It's comfort. Proof that you still exist in the same world as him. Chew. He smiles when he sees something that reminds him of you. He smiles when he sees something that reminds him of you. Not a big, showy grin, but that small, unguarded smile that appears before he can stop it. Maybe it's your favorite flower blooming on the roadside, a song playing in a cafe, or someone laughing with your exact tone. Those tiny details hit him like soft lightning, stirring a warmth he thought he'd buried. For a moment, the world feels familiar again, like you're still part of it. He doesn't plan to think of you. He just does, effortlessly, because pieces of you are scattered everywhere he goes. Sometimes he catches himself smiling and quickly looks away, embarrassed by how automatic it's become. He tells himself it's just nostalgia, but deep down, he knows it's more. It's love lingering quietly, refusing to fade. That smile isn't just a reaction. It's a memory in motion, a flicker of the bond you once shared. Even when he's surrounded by others, that moment pulls him inward, to a place where only you exist. It's bittersweet, a silent, fleeting happiness that reminds him you're still part of his heart's language, showing up in smiles he never meant to give away. He compares everyone new to you. He compares everyone new to you, even when he swears he's moved on. Every time he meets someone, there's an invisible checklist in his mind. The way they speak, the way they laugh, the way they hold their coffee. Without meaning to, he measures each new person against the memories of you. It's not that he's looking for a replacement. It's that you've become the standard, the silent yardstick by which he now unconsciously judges connection. He notices the smallest differences. How someone else's jokes don't land the same way yours did. How their eyes don't light up like yours when they talk about something they love. He might even like the new person, but there's always a quiet echo of you in the background, a comparison he can't seem to stop making. This habit doesn't always feel good to him either. Sometimes it frustrates him, sometimes it makes him miss you more. But it's his heart's way of holding on to the familiar, of trying to find traces of what he once had. Even if he never tells anyone, each silent comparison is a confession. He hasn't truly let you go, because no one else has ever felt quite like you. Maureen. He saves your number even after blocking you. He saves your number even after blocking you. A contradiction that says more than any message could. He tells himself it's just in case that someday he might need to reach out, or you might. But deep down, it's not about practicality. It's about presence. Keeping your number means you still exist in his world, tucked away in his phone like a quiet secret. Even if he's blocked you, it's a way of holding on while pretending he's moved on. Sometimes he scrolls through his contacts and pauses at your name, his thumb hovering over it just long enough to feel that familiar ache. He might have renamed you, maybe an initial, maybe a symbol, but he knows exactly who it is. He can't delete it because deleting it would mean accepting that you're gone for good, so he keeps it there, frozen between distance and denial. Blocking you gives him a false sense of control, but saving your number gives him comfort, a hidden lifeline to a connection he can't fully cut. It's his silent admission that even though he's chosen distance, he still can't bring himself to erase the last piece of you that he can touch. 15. He replays your voice notes late at night. He replays your voice notes late at night, when the world has gone quiet and loneliness starts to breathe louder. Those few seconds of your voice are enough to pull him back into the warmth he pretends he's forgotten. He doesn't need to hear full sentences. Even the sound of you laughing, sighing, or saying his name is enough to unravel him. It's not about the words anymore. It's about the presence. Hearing your voice feels like opening a window in a closed room. Painful, but necessary to remember what fresh air once felt like. He presses play again and again, memorizing every tone, every pause, every tiny inflection that once felt like home. Sometimes he closes his eyes, imagining you're right there beside him, saying those things just for him. Other times he listens in silence, letting the ache settle in his chest until it almost feels comforting. He knows he shouldn't, that holding on to your voice keeps him from healing. But he can't help it. It's the last piece of you that still sounds alive. And when the audio finally ends, he sits in the dark, phone in hand, whispering the words he never sent. Good night. I still miss you.